Okay, in this segment, I thought we'd go through the fundamentals of CNC. And what I mean by that, let's describe some of the parts. You hear a lot of guys on videos talking about the X, the Y, the spindle, the wasteboard. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd just give you a quick tour of my machine and explain some of the parts along the way. It won't be a professional video, but it'll be interesting. So stick around, let's check it out. And we'll talk about the CNC. All right, well, the good news is my battery's about 10% on my phone, so that means this video will be pretty quick. So what I want to do is kind of describe the CNC, give you a little bit of terminology, and let you see what you're getting yourself into. I have the Shark Next Wave HD 510. Although it's got a few extra accessories than you might see with other machines. If you're familiar with math back in the day, you've got your x-axis, which is here, which is your table bed, and you've got your y-axis, and that controls the back and forth of the machine. And then the spindle here in the middle, you can see, is on another coil here. This controls your z-axis. So you've got x across, Y up, back and forth, and Z up and down. Okay, so you're working on 3 dimensions here. You might notice here I have an extra accessory here. It's called the mini 4th axis. And Shark and other CNCs do provide this option as well. But if you wanted to rotate a piece of wood while your router is running, you can actually do something that's kind of like a lathe. So I'm looking forward to using that component as well. This CNC also comes with the Next Wave pen capabilities. So if you want to draw something with your CNC, you can also do that, which is kind of cool. Can't wait to use that as well. Let's start with the Z-axis here. Okay, you can see here that I've got a spindle for a router as opposed to a regular construction shop router. This one is water cooled, so you can see these orange lines that run across through here, down and underneath into this 3-gallon bucket of water. Which there's a pump in there that pumps the water out, and that water helps to keep the spindle cool because it's constantly running. I believe this is a 2 horsepower spindle. I know you can get a 3 horsepower as well, and obviously as you get more commercial sized machines, you can get some bigger spindles as well. Okay? Because the router your projects can run pretty long, 20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe even up to a couple of hours. Okay? It's important to make sure that you've got a router that can handle that. So if you're going to be using a handheld router, just know that it may not perform very long, because those routers really are intended to start, run for a few seconds, and then stop. You can see here the dust boot is here, or the collection for the dust hose. Have the dust boot in the garage there. You can see the collet underneath here where our drill bit is. And so basically that's all there is. So your router gets mounted in the holder here, and it's controlled by this Z-axis. Every CNC is going to have a base. This one's got the T-channels in it. That way you can use these clamps to clamp down your material. In this case, you can see that I've clamped down a spoil board, and you can see that I've had plenty of practice cutting through my material onto the spoil board. Okay, the last thing you want to do is cut onto this hard aluminum or metal base that you have. And if you have a bigger CNC at home, you're going to want to put a spoil board underneath that. Okay. The nice thing about these channels is that you can put parts on different places. Okay, and as long as you can put your clamps down onto the corners, okay, that's one way to hold down your machines. So let's just say you want to do something right in the middle of your board, okay, and you want to do a second or third pass of another piece, okay, or maybe you're making 3 or 4 of something. All right, so once you set your machine, then you simply outline it with these guys, and then once that part's done, you just put the other one back in that same spot. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these clamps on the back. Okay, and you can see that the spoil board is now off. Now this is a spoil board that came with the machine as well. It's an accessory that you buy. It's just hard composite. Okay. I just think it's way too nice to spoil, if you will. That's why I got this piece of MDF to put on top. Obviously you can see I do most of the work on this half. At some point I'll just flip this around so I can use the other half. Then you can flip it over to use the back side. And then when worst comes to worst, you can also go ahead and flatten out with a surface bit and flatten out your spoil board as well. Okay, let's take a look at the other piece that kind of controls the CNC, and this is your pendant. All right, you can see here that it's got a slot for a USB. Okay, so if you're not going to run a computer to your CNC, you do need to put your files on a flash drive, in which case you're going to use the pendant to control, all right, the CNC. Okay, once this thing is on, you can maneuver the CNC to the right and to the left and up and down. Also included that you need to make sure that you get, and that is a 0 tool, all right. And basically you'll put this on top of your spoil board, and you will drop down your drill bit right down until it touches this, and that lets the machine know, okay, this is the bottom of my board, and all the measurements that you've put into the program will be based on how high this is. Okay, so every time you change bits, you've got to use one of these, or you've got to use a piece of paper. That's a little bit of a different kind of process. Okay. Taking a look at the front, this is my power control board. All right, everything plugs into that. You've got a manual automatic kill switch. So basically you're just gonna press it in if you need to stop for any particular reason, and then obviously just turn it to release it and turn it back on. This thing controls all of the equipment, okay? In this case, this controls your router, okay? This one is going to control the pendant, all right? And then this next one is going to control your zeroing machine or tool. And then there is one piece for your computer. If you want to plug in your computer straight into this, okay, then certainly that's an option. That's the way I like to do it. Obviously, you got a couple of wrenches here for your collet to switch out your bits. Now let's take a quick look underneath. This is a router table we got from Rockler. Very sturdy, comes with wheels and a nice base. Let me lower this just a little bit, show you underneath here. I actually built this myself, and basically I mounted a power strip in the back so I could plug in all of the cables, the inverter box that comes with the machine, which converts your power to the spindle over on the side, and then again, of course, the water bucket. And you can see here in the back where I've just suspended the control box. Okay, now all of these machines are, I'm gonna say, kind of run the gamut in terms of price. All right, again, I got this one used, but I bought it because it was a used machine, but basically it was a brand new machine that the gentleman who owned it hadn't used yet. So I got pretty lucky there. Got a pretty good deal on that. But if you want to visit the Next Wave website and see all the different options that they have, they've got some smaller ones that are 1x2. This one happens to be, I believe this one's 30 by 36, the bed size. So if you can imagine making a sign that's 30 by 30, obviously you could do it with this one. Probably would still consider this a hobby machine, just because it's kind of portable. I'm not exactly sure when it's no longer a hobby machine. I guess maybe when it takes up an entire flat space on your table. Okay, well now this is a pretty nice complete setup. It's got a lot of extra accessories. You can purchase this machine at Rockler Woodworking if you're interested. And I'll put their website on the description below, but I'll also put the Next Wave website so you can kind of peruse their things. So I got pretty lucky there. We got a pretty good deal. So there you have it. Just a quick rundown on a CNC and some of the things you might encounter along the way. I'll be putting together a 10 video mini series, at least one or two of the tools from the CAD side, the tool paths that you need on the CAM side, and then we'll be able to see the illustrations and create something with that. And that's something that you can physically do on your own with your CNC. And then come back for, video part 2, where we'll tackle on a couple more tool paths, maybe incorporate something from the first one. And that way you can continue to practice what you've learned in each of the video series. I'm going to keep the videos as short as I can keep them. You'll probably see quick introduction from me. You'll probably see my video screen a lot. You'll see me walk pretty methodically through each of the steps. By the time we're finished, you're gonna have tons of knowledge. You should feel pretty confident in being able to create something. Looking forward to working with all of you. So till that next video, I'm Robert, and this is from the Woodshed.